Prefer God over our own life. St. Ignatius Loyola says that we should prefer to die rather than to commit a mortal sin, to prefer to die rather than to commit a deliberate venial sin, and even be willing to suffer humiliations so as to imitate Christ all the more closely. There is a very interesting book in the Bible. It's the book of Maccabees, Maccabees 1 and 2. The second book of Maccabees, chapter 7, is fascinating. And there are many lessons here. This took place probably about 165 years before Christ. And the Jews were oppressed by the Hellenists, by the Greeks. And the king, his name was Antiochus, and he wanted to suppress absolutely all Jewish rituals and their religion. And one thing that he tried to impose upon them was to go against their kosher law. And that means they could not eat food that came from the pig or pork. So the scene in 2 Maccabees 7 is a mother with 7 sons. The king, with his attendants, and the torturer tries to force them to go against their conscience to eat pork. The mother encourages all the 7 of her sons to suffer torture, to die, rather than to buckle under the pressure of the king. So one after another, they all die. And horrendous deaths. The torturers cut out their tongues. The torturers cut off their hands. The torturers cut off their feet. And then the torturers actually throw them into a frying pan, which they die, fried to death. And after the mother encourages her 7 sons to die for the sake of their religion, to be faithful to their conscience, the mother of these 7 sons, she also dies. So what are a couple of lessons we have here? One is that we have to be faithful to our conscience, a well-formed conscience. Number 2 is that we have to be strong in the face of evil. And number 3 is, this is related to the first commandment, is that we have to put God always above everything. Put God above our very life. And the last lesson is our physical life is important. Our body is important. But even more important than our body is our immortal soul. So I encourage you to read through the second book of Maccabees, chapter 7, and to pray over this. And pray for the grace that you'll be valiant soldiers of Christ. Be willing to die rather than to deny God, who loves you, and He wants you to love Him in return.